Shalom Akim. This is gonna be the part 2 to the video. You women should pray to be genuinely humble. Be humble to where you could fall under the ways of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh, because you do that, you're gonna be safe. And I was alluding at the end of the first video to the brother's dream, as you see here, in which things were bad, very bad, the time of Jacob's trouble, to where it was so evil, people were trying to come into the brother's house. You know, his food was getting low. However, the Lord always sufficed at the right time. And it's a very, very good video. At one point, the brother said he had to put a few jigs down. All right, which was, wasn't something he was necessarily adequate at. However, the Lord stepped in. And it wasn't just at that time, it was another time to where food was getting low. And the Lord had another brother come through and suffice, and he said that his faith, knowing that he did what he needed to do for the Lord, kept him going. All right. So for you women, you need to stick by your man. And if you don't have one, pray. All right. Well, really pray for a humble spirit. Pray for a genuinely humble spirit. All right. So that way you can be a asset to that man of the Lord. And then blessings can flow in even more, because the Lord is dealing with that man, just as the Lord was dealing with this brother. And through this brother, he was able to keep his family, his family safe. As it says in the book of Proverbs chapter 1, verse 33, but whoso hearkeneth unto me shall dwell safely, and shall be quiet from fear of evil. And we hearken to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, all right, by turning away from the mindset of this world and turning back into the mindset of the scriptures, the ways of the East. Now, in the ways of the East, the man was the head of the household, and the woman respected that fact. There was even a scripture in I want to say it's Peter's, where it speaks about how Sarah called Abraham Lord. This is the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 6. Salakia. I'll start at the top. Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands. Be in subjection meaning under the rule, meaning you have to humble yourselves. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna finish off that precept, but just going into the definitions of genuinely. It says, not spurious or counterfeit, authentic, actually possessing the alleged or apparent attribute or character, honestly felt or experienced. Okay, so it's got to be in your spirit, And then the word humble, meaning low in rank, quality, or station, unpretentious or lowly. All right, marked by meekness or modesty in behavior, attitude, or spirit, not arrogant or prideful. So it says, likewise, ye wives, being subject to your own husbands, that if any not obey the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wise, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear, whose adorning let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting the hair and the wearing of gold or of putting on of apparel, but let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corruptible, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit, which is in the sight of God of great price. For after this, in the old time, the holy women also who trusted in God adorned themselves, being in subject unto their own husbands, even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement. You see? And mind you, in the scriptures it says, those that were counted to be saved are of the seed of Abraham, or the seed of faith. All right. So if you have faith in the scriptures, guess what? You are doing yourself and doing your spirit, most importantly, in modesty and humility. Okay. This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 1, which the book of Samuel is a very good depiction of a modest woman, because just as a backdrop, Samuel's mom, Hannah, was barren, and she cried to the Lord. All right, as we're going to read here, where it says 1 Samuel 1 and 9. First Samuel 1 and 5. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion. This is Elkanah, her husband, which, by the way, mind you, had multiple wives. For he loved Hannah, but the Lord had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahweh has shut up her womb. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat. She, meaning Elkanah's other wife, was basically mocking Hannah because she couldn't conceive child, because that was a woman's glory. You know, that's actually what joined her even more, I would say, to really the benefit of her household, you know, because she was able to carry on, you know, her husband, her Lord's line. All right, as far as being able to bring him an heir, you know. So it says, then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? Going to show you she most likely did in a secret. And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? I was talking about Elkanah's other wife was provoking Hannah in secret, you know. Well, she probably, you know how women are, probably walking around Hannah with her baby, smiling and grinning and looking at her at the same time. And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? So Hannah rose up after they had eaten. I just want to see what that word means, Hannah. Grace, Hanan. That's a beautiful name. Favorite. So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. And she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto Yahweh, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, meaning she spake in her mind, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought that she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from thee. And Hannah answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have poured my soul before Yahweh. Count not thy handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thy handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. And when you go into the story, the Most High blessed her with a son, in which case she called Samuel, which in the Hebrew is Shemai Allah, the Lord his. All right, and according to the book of Psalms 34, what does it say? That the Lord will not despise. Psalms 34:17, the righteous cry, and the Lord heareth, and delivereth them out of all their troubles. You know, and that's the trouble with grief of heart, and you know, could be a plague of the mind. That's why to pray to be genuinely humble, you know, is a good thing for you women, you know, especially being in this society. The Lord is nigh unto them that are of a broken heart, and saves such as be of a contrite, a crushed spirit. Okay. So now let's go over to Proverbs chapter 31, verse 30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hand, and let her own works praise her in the gates. You know, and a portion of the 1/3 of your woman. You know, their scriptures even speak about you know, women that helped out the ministry. I believe they were known as the elect ladies. This is probably ended off here. Second Ezra chapter 8, verse 48. In this also thou art marvelous before the Most High, and that thou hast humbled thyself as it becometh thee, and hast not judged thyself worthy to be much glorified among the righteous. And this is the angel speaking in the basically speaking in the state of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, to Ezra. You know, and Ezra was showed many things because he was humbled, you know, in the presence of the Lord. And as we just went into, what the scriptures also say in 1 Corinthians 11, how a woman's Lord, all right, or a woman's you could say a woman's access to the Most High is through her man. It also says that in Numbers the 30th chapter, that if a woman's man allow what she prays to go up, and he don't, you know, have any objection to it, then it will be granted to her. But if so, it will not be granted unto her. All right. So a woman that pleases her husband, that's a beautiful thing in the sight of the Lord. You know, that's why the scripture say, "Rise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, for it will destroy you." It will literally destroy you All right? Because, you can't do one simple thing, which is bow down to your husband, you know? So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. That's really all I had. Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, shalom to the elect. Oh, and Salaki, before I go, I must need to say, for certain women that may have men that aren't in the truth, hey, pray to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah and let him handle the situation. Because we can't advise you to leave your men. That's not even scriptural. As a matter of fact, the scriptures say, the unbelieving, as we just read in, what was that, First Peter's, that the unbelieving husband could be converted by the believing wife. So pray to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, and the Lord will direct that, situation, as he see you doing what you're supposed to do. So with that, shalom to the elect.